So 136 question: which one of the following pairs is not correctly matched? So social welfare function is uh, matched with Bergson and Samuelson. Compensation principle matched with Calder-Hicks. And impossibility theorem, this is not given by Amartya Sen. This is given by impossibility theorem, Kenneth J. Arrow's impossibility theorem, you can say. And the theory of second best given by Lipsey and Lancaster. So third statement will be right answer here because it's not correctly matched. And here is some uh, explanation. The concept of first first was the social welfare function. The concept of social welfare function was introduced by Abraham Bergson in 1938 paper. uh, in his paper a reformulation of certain aspects of welfare economics. Paul Samuelson further developed and popularized this concept in his 1947 book Foundations of Economic Analysis. The social welfare function is a way to aggregate individual utilities into a single measure of social welfare. You should remember this. The book name of the book, it can be asked about in upcoming exams like UGC NET and D+B. The name of the book of the Paul Samuelson, which is published in 1947, Foundation of Economic Analysis, or the paper, the reformulation of certain aspects of welfare economics, given by or written by Abraham Bergson. So the second compensation principle given by Calder and Hicks, or we can say Calder-Hicks efficiency criteria, also known as the compensation principle, was developed by Nicholas Calder or N. Calder and John Hicks, J.R. Hicks, we can say, in the late 1930s. It states that a change in the economy is an important change in an economy is an improvement if those who gain could theoretically compensate those who lose, even if no actual compensation takes place. So, and the third impossibility theorem, the most famous impossibility theorem in social choice theory, is Arrow's impossibility theorem, named after Kenneth Arrow, who introduced it in his 1951 book Social Choice and Individual Values. Social Choice and Individual Values. Arrow shows that no voting system can convert the ranked preferences of individuals into a commodity. Wide ranking while also meeting a specified set of reasonable criteria. And Amartya Sen, while a prominent figure in welfare economics and social choice theory, is not primarily associated with the impossibility theorem. He is known for his work on social choice development economics, and the capability approach to welfare. And the fourth one will be the theory of second best, given by Lipsey and Lancaster. Correctly matched. The theory of second best was introduced by Richard Lipsey and Kelvin Lancaster in the 1956 paper, The Journal Theory of Second Best. It states that if one of the conditions necessary for achieving a Pareto optimum cannot be satisfied, it is not necessarily true that satisfying the remaining conditions will lead to the next best outcome. So third will be the right answer of this question. Now the next question, 137: which of the following is not the feature of Bergson Samuelson social welfare function? No. So it involves interpersonal comparisons of utility in ordinal terms. Second, it enables us to find a unique optimum solution which combines economic efficiency with distributive justice. And third is it cannot be constructed based on some of utilities of various individuals of society and fourth is it is based on explicit value judgment. This question asking about note the feature of Bergerson-Samuelson social welfare function. So first, second, and fourth are the function of Bergerson-Samuelson social welfare features of Bergerson-Samuelson social welfare function, not the third. Here is the explanation. So it first statement, it involves interpersonal comparisons of utility in ordinal terms. This is incorrect statement. This is incorrect statement here. Third will be the right answer here. Now the next question is 138. Consider the following statement regarding LM function ranges. So in the classical range, monetary policy is ineffective. This statement is incorrect here because in the classical range, horizontal part of the LM curve, monetary policy is highly effective, and an increase in money supply shifts the LM curve to the right, significantly impacting output without changing interest rate. And the second statement in the Keynesian, so the statement is wrong here. In the Keynesian range, fiscal policy is ineffective. This is also incorrect. In the Keynesian range, vertical part of the LM curve, fiscal policy is highly effective, and increasing government spending shifts the IS curve to the right, significantly impacting output without changing interest rate. And the third statement, in the intermediate range, both monetary and fiscal policy are effective. This statement is right here. And the intermediate range, upward sloping part of the LM curve, both policies are effective. Fiscal policy shifts the IS curve, and monetary policy shifts the LM curve, both affecting both output and interest rates. So option third will be the right answer here. Now the next question, which of the following is not included in full cost price? Full cost price, so average overhead cost is not included in full cost price. And what is this includes all indirect cost. Average overhead cost includes all indirect costs necessary for production but not directly attributes to specific units of output, such as rent, utilities, administrative salaries, etc. And in the other statements, a normal or satisfactory margin of profit, this is the profit margin deemed necessary for the business to remain viable and competitive. And the third, the reward for future unknown risk. This refers to a provision for uncertainties and risks that the business may face in the future. And average direct variable cost or average direct cost is not included in full cost price because it is a component of variable cost, which represent cost directly associated with producing a unit of output, such as raw materials and direct labor. So option will be the answer will be the fourth one, average direct variable cost. Now the next question is 140. Consider the following statement. Arrow's impossibility theorem shows that there is a perfect way to aggregate individuals' preference to make one social preference. And this statement is incorrect. Arrow's impossibility theorem, also known as Arrow's Paradox states the opposite. It shows that no voting system can convert the ranked preference or individuals into a commodity vice. There is also arrow showed that no voting system can convert the ranked preference of an individual into a community-wide ranking while also meeting a specified set of reasonable criteria. So this statement is incorrect here. And the second, the social welfare function gives a way to rank different allocations that depend on the individual's preferences, and it is a decreasing function of each individual's utility. So it's partially correct, but with a critical error. The first part is correct. First part, the social welfare function gives a way to rank different allocation that depends on the individual preference. Till that part, this is correct, but and it is a decreasing function of each individual utility. This part is incorrect here. That's why statement B will be also incorrect. The first part is correct. A social welfare function does provide a way to rank different resource allocation based on individual preferences. However, the second part is incorrect. Typically social welfare function is an increasing function, not decreasing. It's an increasing function, not decreasing function of individual utility. This means that all else being equal, if an individual utility increases, the social welfare should not decrease. So third option will be the right. A and B are incorrect here. Now the next question is 141. Which of the following is not correct regarding system of environmental economic accounting? Environmental economic accounting, SEEA method of calculating green GDP. So the SEEA represents information regarding environmental stocks and flows between the environment and the economy. This is the right statement here, but question asking about not correct. So in second, it also presents information about income activity related to environment. This is also correct. And the SEEA represents information in monetary terms only. This statement is wrong here, and this will be the right answer here. And the fourth one, the SEE central framework was adopted by the United Nations Statistical Commission as the first international standards for environmental economic accounting in 2012. This is also right statement here. So here is the SEEA system of environmental economic accounting provides a framework to measure environmental stocks like natural resources and flows like resources use and emissions in relation to economic activities. And SEEA integrates economic and environmental data showing how economic activities impact the environment and how environmental resources contribute to the economy. And the third statement, which is not correct here, this is the key error. SEEA presents information in both monetary and physical terms, not only monetary terms. It's asking about saying about only monetary terms. So in monetary and physical terms, for example, monetary value of natural resources, environmental protection expenditure, and physical terms, quantities of resources used, emissions, land use changes. This dual approach is crucial because not all environmental impacts can be easily monetized. And about the fourth statement, the SEEACF was indeed adopted in 2012 as the first international standards for this type of accounting. So third option will be the right answer here. And on the next question, 142, statements about IS curve are given. The IS curve will shift to the right when there is an increase in government expenditure. This statement is generally correct. An increase in government expenditure will lead to a higher aggregate demand, which in turn increases the equilibrium level of output and shift the IS curve to the right. And the statement B, IS curve will be relatively steeper if the interest elasticity of investment is relatively high. This statement is incorrect because the slope or the steepness of IS curve depends on the interest elasticity of investment. If the interest elasticity of investment is high, the IS curve will be flatter, or we can say less steep, indicating that changes in interest rates have a more significant impact on investment and consequently aggregate demand. So only the statement is wrong here, and only the statement first will be the right, and the fourth answer will be the right answer of this question. Now the next question 143, which one is correct in case of a balanced budget multiplier. So first statement, the tax multiplier is 1 less in absolute value than the government expenditure multiplier. So this statement is correct here. And what about other three? So the second statement, the tax multiplier is 1 more in absolute value than the government expenditure multiplier. Wrong, because the statement is wrong because taxes reduce consumption, so their impact is smaller than direct government spending. It can be larger. And the third one, the tax multiplier is 2 more in absolute value than government expenditure multiplier. This is also wrong. The same reason as the second was wrong, and the difference is exactly 1, not 2. And the fourth, the tax multiplier is in absolute value is equal to the absolute value of a government expenditure multiplier. This is wrong because taxes only impact the portion of income that would have been consumed, marginal propensity to consume, we can say, while spending impacts the full amount. So the tax multiplier is always smaller, not equal to the government multiplier. So first will be the right answer here. Now the 144 question, which of the following is incorrect? LM curve slopes upward to the right. LM curve will be relatively steep if the interest elasticity of money demand is relatively low. LM curve will be relatively steep if the interest elasticity of money demand is relatively high. And the LM curve shows the combinations of value of income and interest rate that produce equilibrium in money market. Here is the explanation. This question is about the properties of LM, liquidity preference money supply. Liquidity preference money supply curve in the ISLM model. So first statement is correct. As income increases, money demand increases with fixed money supply. This pushes the interest rate up to maintain money market equilibrium. Hence the LM curve slopes upward, and the LM curve slope upward to the right. And this statement is correct. And second statement is also correct. Low interest elasticity means means money demand is less sensitive to interest rate changes, so a larger change in rate of interest is needed to balance a given change in y. This makes the LM curve steeper. So this statement is correct. Now the next third statement is incorrect because this is the key error. High interest elasticity means money demanded is very sensitive to rate of interest changes. A small change in rate of interest can balance a large change in income. This makes the LM curve flatter, not steeper. Okay. So, and the fourth statement is also correct. The LM curve represents all income and rate of interest, while positive relation with the income and negative relation with LM curve is positively related with rate of interest also. A combination where money demand equals money supply, a money market equilibrium. Money market equilibrium. Therefore, the third statement is incorrect here, and all the three statements are correct. Now the 145 question, which of the following statement is correct? So monetary policy is more effective when interest elasticity of investment is low, and fiscal policy is more effective when the interest elasticity of investment is high. So both statements are correct here, because when When the interest elasticity of investment is low, investment is relatively insensitive to changes in interest rates. Monetary policy tools like changes in interest rates can have a more significant impact on investment and aggregate demand. And the second statement, when the interest elasticity of investment is high, investment is highly responsive to change in interest rate. Fiscal policy measures such as changes in government spending or taxation can have a more substantial impact on investment and aggregate demand. So both statements are correct here. Now the next question is 146. What has to be subtracted from value of output of an enterprise in order to arrive at a net value added at a factor cost? So first is intermediate consumption, second is consumption of fixed capital, and third is the direct net indirect taxes. All A, B, and C are to be subtracted. So um, here is explanation. Intermediate consumption, this represents the cost of intermediate goods and services used up to in the production process. It needs to be subtracted to calculate net value added at factor cost. Consumption of fixed capital, this represents the depreciation of fixed assets during the production process. It also needs to be subtracted to arrive at net value added at factor cost. And the third, net indirect taxes. These or indirect taxes are paid by the enterprises, such as the sales taxes or excise duties minus any subsidies received. They need to be subtracted as well. So third will be the right answer. Now the next question, 147. Which of the following is incorrect regarding Dusenberry relative income hypothesis? So the first option, a rich person will have higher average propensity to consume. So this statement is incorrect here, and all the three statement is correct. Consumers preference are interdependent, we will all know, and differences in relative income determine consumption expenditure, and the people imitate their rich neighbors. So all the three statements are correct, and one is incorrect here. So first one will be the right answer here. Here is the explanation also. According to Dusenberry relative income hypothesis, Dusenberry argued that individuals tend to compare their income and consumption level to those of their peers or reference groups. Consequently, their consumption behavior is influenced more by their relative income position rather than their absolute income. Therefore, the statement that a rich person will have higher APC, average propensity to consume, is not in a line with Dusenberry theory. So first will be the right answer. Now the next question, 148. Which of the following statement is not correct following according to a restatement of a quantity theory of money by Milton Friedman? So the first option, factors affecting supply of money are independent of those which affect the demand for money. So this statement is correct according to the Friedman's quantity theory of money. Friedman argued that the money supply is primarily determined by monetary authorities, and it is independent of factors affecting the demand for money such as income and interest rate. So this statement is correct. Question asking about and not correct. And the second statement, the rate of interest is determined by the forces of thrift and productivity. So this statement is also correct according to Friedman's view. He emphasized that the rate of interest is determined by the interaction of supply and demand for loanable funds, influenced by factors such as thrift, saving behavior, and productivity, real returns on investment. And the third statement, he agreed with the Keynesian approach that interest rate is a purely monetary phenomenon. So this statement is not correct here. Milton Friedman views it diverged from the Keynesian perspective on interest rates. Friedman believed that interest rates were primarily determined by real factors such as thrift and productivity rather than being purely monetary phenomena. And the fourth statement, demand for money function is more stable than Keynesian consumption function. This statement is correct here. According to Friedman's view, he argued that the demand for money function is relatively stable compared to consumption function in Keynesian economics. So third will be the right answer here, which is not correct. Now the second last question, 149. According to Milton Friedman, which of the following statement is not correct about demand for money? So demand for money depends on price and returns of different forms of wealth. And the second, demand for money depends upon taste and preferences of individuals. And third is he argued with the change that money is demanded for three motives: transaction, precautionary, and speculative motive. And fourth is demand for money depends upon total wealth of individuals. Here is the explanation of this question. This statement uh, this is about first statement. The statement is aligns with the Friedman's view. He argued that the demand for money is influenced by the opportunity cost of holding money compared to other forms of wealth. If the returns on alternative assets such as bonds or stocks increase relative to holding money, individuals may reduce their demand for money. And the second statement, Friedman's also emphasized the role of individual preferences and attitudes towards risk and liquidity in determining the demand for money. Different individuals may have varying preferences regarding the liquidity they desire, impacting their demand for money. And the fourth statement is Friedman's quantity theory of money considers factors like total wealth, income, and interest rates as determinants of the demand for money. As increase in total wealth may lead to an increase in the demand for money if individuals allocate some of their increased wealth to holding more liquid assets. So third statement is the right answer here. And now the next question, or the last question, we can say which of the following is are correct with the reference to fiscal policy intervention. So an income tax cut increases interest rate, consumption, and GDP, and reduce investment in the economy. This statement is incorrect because an income tax cut would typically increase disposable income, leading to higher consumption and potentially higher GDP. However, it may not necessarily increase the interest rate. In fact, depending on the economic condition and the response of the central bank, a tax cut might lead to a reduction in interest rate to stimulate investment. So that's why the statement is incorrect here. Now the statement B, government spending increases interest rates, consumption, and GDP, and reduces investment in the economy. This statement is also incorrect. An increase in government spending would typically lead to higher consumption, GDP, and potentially lower interest rate. If the central bank accommodates the increased spending with the monetary policy actions, it may not directly reduce investment unless it crowds out crowds out private investment by competing for resources. And the third statement, explorers know that both A and B have inaccuracy regarding the effects of fiscal policy intervention. Government spending increases interest rate. Now the third statement, investment subsidy increases investment subsidy increases interest rate, consumption, and GDP, and reduces investment in economy. So I think this statement is also incorrect according to me. An investment subsidy is designed to increase investment by reducing the cost of investment for businesses. It would typically lead to increased investment, potentially higher GDP, and may not necessarily increase interest rate on consumption significantly. So as per me, all the three statements are incorrect. But if you know the correct answer of this question, please let me know in comment box. not able to give the answer of this question. So that's all about the RPSC paper 1